Today, we're taking a sideways look at how we divide up England.
Welcome to Map Men.
We're the men.
And here's the map.
Map Men, Map Men, Map Men.
On the 25th of March 1994, the BBC broadcast a very unusual programme.
It was an episode of Tomorrow's World Megalab, a science show where viewers could take part in various experiments at home. And it included this. Here's a question for you all. Have a look at this photo.
If you think she's smiling, dial this number.
And if you think she's not smiling, dial this number.
But there was more to this question than first appeared, because at the end of the show, they revealed that the country had been split in two and had been shown two slightly different versions of the programme.
Earlier on, viewers in the eastern half of the country only saw a one-frame flash of the same woman with a beaming smile. Viewers in the west didn't. The experiment was to see if one subliminal frame could affect eastern viewers' votes.
We'll tell you the results later, but for now, we're concerned with something much more concerning. Why on earth did the BBC split the country vertically?
Splitting the UK into east and west is something nobody ever does. Britain, well, England especially, is far more used to a horizontal-ish line splitting the nation into northerners and southerners.
England's north-south divide is a fierce cultural rivalry, reflected in films, TV programmes, books, TV programmes based on books, internet memes, internet quizzes, former West End musicals and 10-year-old YouTube videos.
But despite all the deep-rooted north-south mythology, was this weird programme onto something? Have we all got it wrong, and could there actually be a stronger case for an English east-west divide? And if so, where is the line?
Well, that's easy. A simple divide down England's 9 government office regions places these areas in the west and these areas in the east. Everyone knows which side they're on. No Midlands, no problem.
But you can arbitrarily split any shape in two. It doesn't mean that the two sides are actually any different from each other. What's the difference between vertically splitting England and vertically splitting this carrot?
Quite a big one, because it turns out there are lots of very persuasive maps providing proof of this particular peculiar perpendicular partition. And where better to start than hundreds of years ago?
The year is 585 AD. Well, it was, but I'm using the present tense to add a sense of urgency. And the Germanic Anglo-Saxons are invading from across the North Sea, creating a stark east-west divide, with Anglo-Saxons in the east and the Celts in the west. The relics of this divide will be, or are being seen 1500 years in the future, aka today, in the strong Celtic DNA of people in Cornwall and Wales. Now, 1200 years earlier, or 300 years from now, or what was now when I started, it is 865 AD, and England is once again split down the middle, this time by a new border known as the Danelaw. From Essex in the south to Durham in the north, the Vikings now dominate the east, while the Anglo-Saxons, at this precise moment in the past, retreat to the west. And in the future, this will be reflected in the place names of English towns and cities to this day, today. And now it is that today, and a new wave of illegal migrants in small boats.
But leaving history to one side, there are other ways to show that the country is vertically divided, and one of these is based on geography.
Isn't everything?
Geography. 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 Geography.
From a physical point of view, there's a clear divide down the middle of the country, a vertical spine from the top of England all the way down to Derby.
These are the Pennine Mountains. They're lumpy and hard to live on, making them sparsely populated and hard to cross. And that doesn't just go for people, but for clouds too. And to help explain this, let's go over to Tim for the weather.
Thanks, Mark. Well, as you can see, England's weather is heavily influenced by westerly winds carrying moist air from the Atlantic Ocean. Now, when this moist air reaches high altitude areas like the Pennine Mountains, the air rises and cools, forming rain clouds, getting everybody nice and wet. By the time this air reaches the eastern side of the country, it's in a so-called rain shadow, leaving these areas as some of the driest in the country. Liverpool, for example, gets more than 1,000 millimeters of rainfall every year, whereas Hull gets less than 700. So if you're heading out on the western side of the country, don't forget to bring your umbrella.
Thanks, Tim. Yes, I forgot my umbrella once.
Oh, nightmare.
I got soaking wet.
Yes, I've been wet before.
Getting wet. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome to the final week of your identity fraud course. Looking around the room, I'm very excited to re-meet all of you under your new stolen identities. Should we start with David, or should I say Admiral Campbell?
Yes, I've stolen more than £30,000 from the real Admiral Campbell by taking out lots of credit cards in his name.
I salute you. Brother Nick, introduce us.
So, Nick is from a Franciscan order in Puglia. Had to learn a bit of Italian, but got an EU passport.
Really useful if you end up on the run. Okay, Pete. You're still Pete.
I couldn't steal an identity.
Why not?
I tried. I picked a guy my age. I tried to hack his data through multiple brokers, but there was no trace of them.
That's impossible.
It's not, because it turns out he had Incogni.
What's Incogni, dear?
Incogni, the sponsor of the video that this advert is in the middle of, is an automated service that searches for data brokers and contacts them on your behalf with a legal demand to delete your personal data from their databases, keeping you regularly updated and keeping your identity safe online. They even have a custom removals feature, allowing you to also input a link where you found your data online, and Incogni's privacy specialist will take care of the rest. In fact, it was such a good deal that I bought Incogni myself.
What?
So did I. I get a discount by clicking link in description and using code MAPMEN to get 60% off annual subscription.
Hang on, guys. Let's not reward the enemy. What about the last few weeks?
I'm terribly sorry, but with Incogni keeping everybody's identities so safe, this all feels rather pointless.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe there's no future in identity fraud. So, who wants to become a burglar?
Welcome back. Another phenomenon dividing England vertically and keeping the east and west sides of the country separate is transport links.
Or lack thereof. London, despite being tucked away in the bottom right corner of the country, is the nation's capital and only megacity, sucking all motorways and high-speed railway lines in its direction. What this means is, England is very well served by vertical transport links, but horizontal ones, especially ones far from London, are slow, limited, and usually a poorly thought out afterthought.
And I'm proud to announce today that this government is investing more than £400 in an east-west bus link connecting Manchester to Sheffield in just 3.5 hours. Oh, be grateful, it's more than you've had in the last 50 years.
A combination of a mountainous middle and magnetic metropolis makes a strong case for a transportational east-west divide. But there's something even more important than trains.
No, there isn't.
The economy.
Okay guys, welcome back to Matty's Money. Today we are talking about the massive inequality between the east and the west of England. It goes right back to the Industrial Revolution, yeah? That was mainly in the west. Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham. Okay, yes, Leeds, Sheffield, I hear you, but not so much, yeah? And that is because the soft water is more suitable for making textiles. And so the east got left behind. That's just a fact, yeah? Still wet, man. And what's weird, yeah, is that today that divide is back. Since the financial crash, the Northwest has grown 50% faster than the Northeast. You don't need me to tell you that is massive, yeah? And the West Midlands as well, they've grown 20% faster than the East Midlands. Lincolnshire, Rutland. It's like, where even are they? Nobody knows where Rutland is. I don't.
So, with all this clear geographical,
Historical,
economical,
and transportational basis for such a strong side-to-side divide, why is it never talked about?
why hasn't an east-west cultural divide emerged?
Why are there no East versus West memes?
Why no chance of dirty eastern at football matches?
The answer is that the East-West divide has a major flaw. England is like the plot of Avatar, long and thin, and this causes two problems. Firstly, the divide is so easy to draw, it makes any clickbaity quizzes, where is the East-West divide, no fun at all.
And second of all, with such a long vertical divide, far more people would find themselves on the same team as people hundreds of miles away, but a different team from people just down the road.
It doesn't make sense for Leicester to be enemies with Birmingham, but friends with Brighton and Berwick-upon-Tweed.
One single region stretching from Carlisle to Cornwall can't be expected to coalesce and create a combined community. And you can tell just by listening to it. England, despite being one of the smallest big countries in the world, has perhaps the largest variation of dialects and accents. A gifted linguistics professor could listen to someone say this sentence and place them within 50 miles of their house.
But it doesn't take a gifted linguistics professor to hear that sentence and place it broadly in either the north,
Don't run a hard water bath.
or the south,
Don't run a hard water bath.
and that, let's face it, is a huge part of why the north-south divide has become such a cultural phenomenon, in a way that east-west never could.
Because you can immediately hear which side you're on, the north-south divide has caught on, been reinforced and become a thing. And, rightly or wrongly, the two sides perceive each other differently.
Which, it turns out, is precisely why tomorrow's World Mega Lab used this weird east-west divide in the first place.
The experiment to prove whether one frame could change your brain would only work
Geography.
if the two sides were, in every way possible, equal.
If they'd used the more traditional north-south divide, the audience might not have believed the outcome and put the result down to a cultural difference between the two sides.
That proves nowt. Us northerners don't know a smile when one slaps us in the face because we're so bloody miserable.
Is this a smile?
I don't feel like I've learnt a thing.
What do you mean?
Well, all we've done is find out that the east-west divide doesn't work, so it doesn't help in any way when it comes to understanding our country better.
Not so.
How?
Whilst a single east or single west national identity may be missing in action, the east-west divide can still be a very useful thing to consider if we integrate it with the north-south divide. By using two simultaneous axes to break up the country, we create 4 distinct regions: northwest, northeast, southwest and southeast.
This combined compass quarters categorization gives us the best of both worlds. A map marked not only by strong historic and geographic boundaries, but also reflected in strong cultural differences and feelings of identity between the regions.
And still broad enough to retain all the fun of making sweeping generalizations about the entire populations of huge chunks of land. Perhaps this new, better northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast divide
We're still working on the branding.
could make for stronger identities, better memes, funnier stereotypes, making it less likely you'll be put on the wrong side, and finally getting rid of the Midlands once and for all.
So what were the results of tomorrow's World Mega Lab's experiment about subliminal frames?
It made absolutely no difference.
Why the Map Men